What is up, my mates of YouTube? My name is Aussie Marcel, and in today's video we're going to be looking at my top 5 favorite fragrances for January of 2025. These are the fragrances that I've been gravitating towards the most this month. So if that sounds good to you, let's get into the video. I found the truth inside myself. It seems that every month or every couple of months, perhaps it's a little seasonal as well, but I tend to gravitate towards a few fragrances in particular, and this month there's been some absolute bangers that I've just been rocking. Some of them are old favorites, some of them are new favorites, and I'm going to talk about them right now. This is in order of cheapest to most expensive, so there's something for everyone here. And first up, we are starting with Versace Blue Jeans. This is an old school men's fragrance from the early 90s. And every time I smell it, it takes me back to a summer vacation that I went on a few years ago now, with my partner. And every time I smell this, it just takes me back to that summer, how hot it was. I mean, summer isn't as hot as it used to be here, but it was pretty nice. And every time I smell this, it's such a nostalgic fragrance. It's a little aromatic. It's always kind of reminded me a little bit of Coca-Cola. I mean, smell this alongside Coca-Cola and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. It's aromatic, it's fresh, it's a little blue, it's a little, I don't know, it's quite synthetic as well, but this one is great for compliments. It's really quite a unexpectedly lovely fragrance. I mean, initially you're going to be maybe off-put by how synthetic it is, but at $30 Australian, it's very affordable and it'll bring you back in touch with some of the more old school style of men's fragrances. Performance for Blue Jeans is actually pretty solid. You're looking at about 6 to 7 hours with 3 sprays. It's not a super projective fragrance, so this is definitely something you can chuck on and not be afraid to stink out a room. Yes, it is a little synthetic. I've noticed that some people can be a little averse to synthetic fragrances, but definitely this is worth picking up for that $30 price point. Highly recommend this one. Next up is my favorite fragrance of all time, Drakkar Noir. What can I say about this one that I haven't already said a million times before? If you haven't tried this one, go out of your way to try it. It's aromatic, it's masculine, it's as old school as it gets. This is the sort of like the peak masculinity when it comes to fragrance. It's got a pretty prominent lavender note, oak moss, touch of leather, spicy, it's fresh. It's one of the most versatile fragrances on the market. Performs for about 6 to 7 hours, again with 2 to 3 sprays, and you can pick this one up for about $40 to $45 Australian. This is well worth checking out. If you're somebody that has never tried out an old school men's fragrance before, this is the place to start. Next up is a significantly more recent fragrance, Hugo Boss Infinite Eau de Parfum. This has grown on me so much. It's almost like scratching a birch tree and then just smelling it, but it's quite minty, it's a little spicy in the opening. This is one of the very few fragrances that I can chuck on and guarantee compliments for. Hugo Boss Bottled Infinite reminds me of what Drakkar Noir would smell like if it were created nowadays versus the 1980s. This is fresh, it's spicy, it's got a touch of cinnamon, amber, but it's got a huge dose of lavender here. It's also a little minty as well. There's like this fresh, spicy mintiness in the opening. It's one of the very few fragrances that when I chuck on, it guarantees compliments. This seems to impress everyone, both men and women. So if the only thing you're after is compliments, this is well worth checking out. You can pick up a bottle of this for about $70 Australian, but prices vary pretty wildly. I saw it at Priceline for like $55 a bottle, and then like a month later, this was selling for like $120. So I would check eBay, Chemist Warehouse online store, or the Priceline online store. You want to get the best possible deal for this one, but for the way this one smells, it's definitely worth spending a little extra on it. Performance is solid at about 7 hours with 3 sprays, but I have noticed it doesn't project super strong, but if somebody gets in close with you, they're gonna notice it right away. This one's fantastic. Next up is another old school classic men's fragrance, Dior Fahrenheit. This one's from the late 80s. It smells like violet leaves. I used to think this smelled like petrol or gasoline if you're American, but nowadays it just smells like violets to me. It's incredibly strong. It's an all-day fragrance. You're paying $130 Australian for this one. This is another one of those peak masculinity fragrances. Even though it's got the note of violet in it, it's definitely not a feminine leaning scent. It's ultra powerful, it's leathery, it's dense, it's strong. This is something you only need 1 or 2 sprays of, and it's gonna last you all day. $130, it's not the most affordable thing out there, but you do get what you pay for. Dior is a very recognizable brand, and this is a monster for compliments as well. Definitely check this one out. And finally, at about $120 to $150 Australian is Incense City by All Saints. Incense, sort of like a burnt sugar quality to it as well. Cypress, it's herbal, it's aromatic. If the notes of smoke or incense don't usually sound appealing to you, but you want something that's modern and also unisex, like maybe something you want to share with your partner, you know, you both wear a lot of black or something, this is definitely the fragrance for you. It's well worth it. All Saints, I think, is definitely one of the more underrated modern brands when it comes to fragrances and perfumery. Everything I've smelt of theirs has been fantastic. Sunset Riot, Concrete Rain, Leather Skies in particular is another fantastic fragrance. But Incense City is my highlight of the bunch. My God, I could wear this every day. If I could only wear one fragrance every single day for the rest of my life, of the 5 I'm talking about today, it would absolutely be Incense City. I have read that this has been recently discontinued though, so pricing may vary. Pricing may very well be above $150 Australian, but if you have that sort of cash to burn, this is definitely something you should check out. Performance is incredible at about 12 hours with 2 to 3 sprays. I would probably dial back the sprays a little bit on this one because it can be quite strong. It projects incredibly as well. Massive for compliments. Massive for just standing apart from other similarly priced fragrances. As I sort of alluded to in the community post I made about this fragrance, either yesterday or the day before. Anyways, these are the 5 fragrances I've been rocking lately. Let me know what yours are in the comments below. I can't wait to hear from you guys, and until the next one, my name is Ozzy Marcel, and I'll catch you guys around.